What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe. This is Eve Online, and we're going to talk about the Tech 2 rabbit hole and the trouble that I got myself into a few weeks back. Well, I set up a fit for myself with a T1 frigate, and I thought, okay, this will be really fantastic. What I'll do is I'll go and I'll buy the blueprint original for the Tech 2 item that I want. Obviously, you can only, for the most part, as I'm aware, there may be some exceptions, but for the most part, you can only buy BPOs for Tech 1. So you buy the Tech 1, you research it down, or at least in my head, this is how I walked through it. I understand that this is wrong now, but this is how I went through it. So I went and I bought this BPO for 200mm autocannon 1. And I researched it down over the course of a week or two to 10% material efficiency, 20% time efficiency, thinking incorrectly that when I made copies of it when I turned it, I didn't do proper research, but when I turned it into the Tech 2 version of it, that Tech 2 version as well would have 10% and 20% modifiers to it. This is wrong. And we're going to talk about how wrong in just a moment here. So I started with, let's use the steel plates as an example. All right, so we got steel plates, 200mm steel plates 1 blueprint. Research that down, that's 2 weeks. I looked at this and I'm like, okay, I went and did a bunch of mining. I think I'll be able to cover this quite easily. And how many do I need? However many ships I'm going to make, that's however many I need, right? So then I'm like, okay, that's great. So how then do I research it? Well, it turns out you make a copy of this blueprint first. So you make a bunch of copies. I don't know how many you would like, but I made, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I made 10 because I was anticipating that I don't know. Don't ask me what I was anticipating. I forget. That much time has passed. I don't even remember. But I did like 10 runs per copy. It turns out also that when you go to do Tech 2, if I look at one of these copies and then I select the Invention tab, that you put in this copy, and the copy has 2 runs remaining. And if we put this here, 1 run per copy. I think I did 2 runs per copy at 10. Don't ask me the reasoning again. I don't remember. But so it looks like I made 10 2-run copies, right? So if I look at all of these, they're all 2 runs. And this is because I had learned from the autocannon. But on the autocannon, I made a bunch of copies with the max number of runs humanly possible. So I've got this copy with 2 runs, but when I click on the copy and I go to Invention to try to turn it into a Tech 2 blueprint copy, you'll notice that there's very little bearing on look at this. So this copy has 2 runs remaining. This copy has 10 runs. Does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me. So first, let's make this video me being bewildered. And then I guess maybe the second video we can go and use the internet as a resource. But so, all right. So you've made your copies now, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to make my Tech 2 blueprint. And as I understood it, you either get your Tech 2 blueprint out, or you get nothing back and you lose your copy. So, okay, that's just time. And going through this process isn't super expensive, but you need to use items that you find while doing data site exploration. So, data cores, right? And for these armor plates, I need hydromagnetic physics and nanite engineering. You'll notice I have the nanite engineering, but I do not have hydromagnetic physics. So these are part of space specific. So there are whatever factions are in a given part of space, that is the type of data cores that you're going to be able to find. So far as I'm aware, I did not have, I guess we can look. Hydro Yeah, so I've got these from out in another area of space, but either way. So you're like, okay, so now I need data cores, 2 of each of these per run. Now, because I have two runs on this blueprint, I can run this twice, right? With a 37% chance of success at making this Tech 2 blueprint. So if I do that, and it's a success, I will make 2 of these with 10 runs each, okay? But they're not, again, just to draw your attention, they are not researched at 10% material efficiency and 20% time efficiency. They are at 2% and 4%. Where that comes from, I don't know. Now, if you want to improve your chances, this is where the decryptors come in. Okay, so now we're like 2 or 3 levels into this, and you're already using, look at this, I've got 161 million ISK in decryptors. I've got, and that's not a ton, and 38.4 million in these, right? So, all right, so now I've got decryptors. And if we look at these, suddenly they make a little more sense. Like this Symmetry Decrypter takes this from 10 runs to, it's not going to be able to let me simulate it, but all right, let's see. What was it? A Symmetry Decrypter, right? So now instead of 10 runs per blueprint, you're going to get 12, right? And it increases your material efficiency by 1 and your time efficiency by 8, but your success rate is still 37%, right? And you need to use up something that's 2.8 million just to give yourself this chance, okay? Now, if you instead, now I guess that's 2.8 for 6, so they're 460k each. But instead, if you want to use one of these that is more expensive, let's see, this one is 4 million each. That increases your probability by 80%. Right, so we want to use the Attainment Decrypter. There we go. And again, because we're running this twice, it needs 2. So now our probability of success is 66.8%. And it increases the max runs by 4, reduces the material efficiency, and increases the time efficiency. So you can see that each of these has a different impact. This decreases the probability but drastically increases the maximum runs, and so on and so forth. And you know, you can trade off and see which ones are most worthwhile to you. Now, let's say that you do all of this and you get this Tech 2 blueprint. And in your head, you might be thinking, I'm done. I did it, and now I can go and use regular minerals, and it's going to be great. It's not going to be great. You cannot use purely regular minerals. Now, you have to get into using a whole bunch of bullshit. And I say it's bullshit because this was a surprise to me. It shouldn't have been. I know, it's all on the internet, but this was a surprise to me when I finally I made, without really knowing what I was doing, I made 17 autocannon 200mm Tech 2 blueprints, all with 10 runs each. And I thought I had struck gold so that I could finally make me some fucking 200mm autocannon 2s. But then I got into this screen where I found I needed a bunch of things, not the least of which minerals that come from mercoxit, I believe. Yep. And which are very expensive. So 6 of them is going to run me 50k. So if you're going to run, I don't know, a bunch, and you need to run, you know, you want to build all 14 of this one blueprint. So you're going to build 14 plates in this case. Suddenly now it's 680k. And the total cost to run these is 4.7k. But you need to make one 200mm steel plate Tech 1 for every one you want to build of Tech 2. You need to use these RAM armor/hull tech. Now, again, these are things that you're not going to find, these specifically, you're not going to find in most, I don't think, most data sites that you're at. These are going to be coming from like covert sites, I believe. I don't have a ton. But these are going to be also specific to whatever it is you're working on. So in this case, armor. So it's going to be armor and hull. For the other one, I think it was weapon tech for the autocannons. So now we're requiring these items and this other thing, which you likely just don't have lying around. And you likely don't have the blueprint for lying around unless you were really prepared, which I was not, obviously. And this one in particular needs tungsten carbide armor plates. So if you're sitting out in Null, as I was, and you were thinking, boy, there isn't shit on the market, I'm going to build all of this Tech 2 stuff for myself. You may come to the realization, as I did when I reached this stage, hopefully before you reach that stage, that this is a fool's errand. That not only will it cost you a lot of money, but if the item that you want is not on the market, odds are extremely good the items that you need to build the thing you want are also not on the market. So these are not on our market. These are not on the market. These are not on the market. Minerals are on the market. So, okay, for what that's worth. I can use the minerals to make the steel plates. This thing, not on the market. This thing, not on the market. And to bring them out here, because they all take up a decent amount of space, costs an additional amount to have it couriered and shipped out here. So this is Tech 2 manufacturing in how this game is made, or is managing things. So I clearly have decided that, or maybe not clearly, but after discovering this with the autocannons and then doing a bunch of spreadsheets and pricing things out at JITA and then pricing out how it would take to ship it out here, I've decided instead to just sell all of the blueprints and say, fuck all, I'm not doing Tech 2 manufacturing, and then just move on with my life. And if I'm going to be paying for somebody to ship something out here, I might as well just buy the goddamn thing itself and have that shipped out and then be done with it. So the Tech 2 rabbit hole needs a lot. And before you get into it, know what you're getting into. Hopefully this has laid it out a little bit, but I guess the 10 and 20% benefit really is only for when you reach this point and you need to make 14 of these things. You can at least do so cheaply, or as cheaply and as quickly as the game will allow. So there we are. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments, let me know. If you have any suggestions, also open to that. One of the other ideas I had was maybe to create a manufacturing skilled character instead of using this person and just skilling them randomly all over the place to be able to do, poor man's manufacturing. I don't know. This frustrated the shit out of me, so maybe I won't do that. But one way or the other, now you know what I know, which is not much. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.